Hey guys, Robin here, and welcome to another movie review. Now today, I am going to be reviewing a science fiction film from 1984, directed by Nick Castle, the guy who played Michael Myers in Halloween '78 and Halloween 2018. Um, and it's one of the big sci-fi films from the 1980s that didn't have Trek, Empire, Jedi, or Future in the title. That movie is The Last Starfighter. Now, The Last Starfighter is about a teenager named Alex Rogan, played by Lance Guest, uh, who lives in a trailer park and spends his time playing a game called Starfighter. And he finally beats the game, gets a high score, and and he's drafted into an intergalactic he's drafted into an intergalactic version of the army comprised of aliens fighting against the evil forces controlled by Zur. now Now, upon meeting Centauri, played wonderfully by Robert Preston in his final theatrical film role, who puts Alex into his really, really sweet-looking star car, which looks very DeLorean-esque. And upon finding out that they're expecting him to fight in battle, Alex, like any Alex, much like you and me, he decides he doesn't want to be a part of it. He decides he doesn't want to be a part of this because he didn't know what was going on. And much to the ire of Centauri, he is sent back home, not knowing that a robot duplicate of himself named Beta has been placed there so people don't notice that Alex is missing. Now, Beta's role in the film was originally much smaller than it was in the theatrical cut, but Beta got such a positive response in test screenings that they decided they decided to get Lance Guest back to film more scenes with Beta. But since Lance Guest had gotten a haircut, they had to put a wig on him to maintain continuity. Now the thing is about Beta, when we first see him, he's like this ultra pale, humanoid looking thing with these huge bug eyes and flashing lights under his skin. He looks really freaky. And there's also a funny bit with Beta. In fact, this movie also has what could possibly be the only third person facepalm in film, because at one point Beta takes his head off and sets it on a desk, and something happens that and something happens that Beta's thinking, "Are you kidding me?" And his hand reaches over and basically goes and basically does this, which is really funny. And Alex's little brother's like, "What the heck is this?" And Beta Alex says, "You're having a nightmare. Go back to sleep." And the reason and Alex thinks that he just rejected fighting as a starfighter, and he thinks all is good and fine, and he can go back to his normal trailer park life. But unfortunately, Zur is aware of Alex, so he has sent these alien assassins who have incredibly good makeup. I'll cover special effects in a little bit. And funny thing about these aliens, when they get a limb shot off, they're actually able to psychically control the limb, which is awesome. But shortly after Alex returns to Earth, but shortly after Alex returns to Earth, Zer launches an attack on Starfighter base, which thanks to a little undercover, thanks to the help of an undercover operative, but they, and since Alex is the, was, and since Alex wasn't there at the time, he is, he is the titular Last Starfighter. And speaking of which, right there, he is Griggs. Right there, he is Griggs, played by O'Hurley. Dan O'Hurley, and a funny bit about Centauri, despite being a spaceship that can turn into like an intergalactic vehicle, it's like a bit like it breaks down partway to the trailer park, and Alex is basically like by Centauri, and, Centauri's feet are sticking out from under the car, and he lifts a leg and kind of waves it like that, which is kind of funny. Yeah, yeah. Like, Robert Preston is one of the best things about this film. Like his performance as Centauri is just incredible. Yeah, like this is an amazing like night. This is like one of the best, one of my personal favorite '80s sci-fi flicks. Now Now, prior to watching the whole film before, like back in either 2010 or 2009, I saw the first 10 minutes of this. My dad had downloaded a version of it, but unfortunately the picture was kind of zoomed in, so I just kind of didn't watch it. And I did have a copy of the Last Starfighter, of the novelization of the Last Starfighter, but I didn't read it all the way through. But I did get to a point where something happens to one of the main characters. But since I didn't read the novelization all the way through, I didn't know that something else happens involving the same character. Now, I did mention this film's special effects. Now, The Last Starfighter is another first for its CGI use in a film. In a film. In a film. Now, for those of you who may not have seen my previous review, the 1973 sci-fi film Westworld was the first film to use its CGI, and was the first ever movie to use CGI, and it was used to render the point of view of the gunslinger robot. And Future World was the first film to use 3D computer generated imagery, which we only saw like on monitors in the film. But The Last Starfighter was the first film to use CGI to render objects that are meant to exist in the real world, such as the spaceship's Starfighter base, and even the Star Car as it's flying through space. Now compared to CGI today, this stuff is it's very primitive. Like it's like not it's low resolution. Now now they did want the film to have like higher quality CG, but that would have cost too much, so they had to go with the lower quality stuff. But for 1984, the CGI it still looks incredibly well for the time. So yeah, I highly do recommend the Last Starfighter. The special effects, both the CGI and the practical effects. I mean, like makeup, and I mean like makeup, ray guns, and the alien costumes. They all look fantastic. The writing is incredible. The acting is spectacular. However, there is a bit of a plot hole at the end. Now at first Alex can't understand Griggs or any of the other aliens until he has like something that he implanted that basically turns alien talk into English. So now he can understand Griggs as for him, he's hearing Griggs talk in perfect English. But at the end of the film, he introduces Griggs to the rest of the trailer park residents, and they can all perfectly understand Griggs, even though they obviously don't have like any translation devices in them. But but uh, but yeah, that's and there actually was going to be a Last Starfighter game made by Atari, but unfortunately, due to the video game crash of the mid '80s, the game was never released as a Last Starfighter game. Atari revisited the last Starfighter fighter game. Atari revisited what would have been the last Starfighter game in 1986 or '88. They changed some of the graphics and released it as Solaris, which I personally think is one of the most graphically impressive games on the Atari. There was also supposed to be a Last Starfighter game on the Atari 5200, but that was canceled. But that was also canceled due to being. But that was also canceled due to the commercial failure of the Atari 5200. Now there was now the NES did get a Last Starfighter game in 1990, about 6 years after the film, but it's an in-name only adaptation. All they did was they took an existing game, they changed up some of the graphics, and they just slapped the Last Starfighter name on it. Now there has been talks of either of a sequel and a remake, but due to like multiple people claiming on the copyright, Universal owns the home video copyright, and the and the movie itself, what is owned by Lorimar, I think one of the writers, and the film's writer Jonathan Betuel also claims to own the film. So who knows? Maybe we'll get a sequel to The Last Starfighter. Maybe we'll get a remake. Maybe we'll get both, or maybe we won't get either. So, and that about does it for this review. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you all soon in the near future. Peace.